Ivan, Yanko.
Alaska, my Miss Sanchi, I've been a mention what here for. And I mean, say, oh, Africa, you begin to ask yourself, say, as I see so, all the mineral resources now was as I see so, a muted come from Africa.
A muted?
Yes. Alaska, as I see way so, open or maya, a human resource pa or wopia, the whole of the continent we are seeing in Africa. And you know, among all the resources now we are seeing in America, a human resource is the most essential, is the best. And some about gold, diamond, and as a form. And when it comes to human resources, and I'm saying this because when it comes to UFO population in Africa, by the close of 2050, we will be somewhere around 61%.
61%.
Yes, youth population. Our ages, are relatively young, very energetic. Countries in Europe, in America, they don't have those population. America, they are aging. I think the average age, the last time I checked, was around 42 to 51. Yes.
Woman check.
So they are aging. Oko Germany is worse. So when it comes to human resource, we are the best. When it comes to mineral resource, you will be. So the question is, at the end of year, with all these things, yent me and leverage for economic transformation. Na the biano opa manye here more as Africa. Or my sabi when it comes to this natural resource, nibi. The population agent in some, and as a result, what here, dear, besit neno, and then Wahunyans said no. Even some need be a crana. Let me leverage my number for economic transformation. As I mind China. China is a global force.
That's right.
First, none the population on Namane way no. So Chinese were scattered all over the place. Because what we are doing, Nippona Buso, and you went to but what sense to go the industrial way? No, who said no. Manufacturing, today, China at the global stage, they are a competitive force.
Now
all the construction we are, all the major road construction across Africa are done by Chinese companies. And this can say in the communist-oriented countries like China and as no, there is nothing called private entity. Okay, they are all state-owned. So private company of China, but now who's a private waboka because the kind of capitalism no most more running a state run capitalism. Wow. Unlike a private way in the US, UK, and other places, So it's fully state sponsored. And no more than number. But I'm no with the animal. By that, we need to be a seminal about who's on China buying a yasem. It's been Abramovich never taught Chelsea, or running the show who knows about all the oligarchs, no more. Or more are friends of the Kremlin. Sika from the state. That is why your friends are UK, Russia, and some no more. Nanka will be our Sika club with them confined cuisine. But they know, say, all the money are oligarchs, no more Russian using a state money. So, or Gia, I can't state, it's not an individual. The individuals now just fronting it.
And doing your mind in
some those communist countries are not here. So, Alaska, so you ask yourself, say, a banner saying, and I would all near Omomuni Niama, or even on my teams, so some of the countries are built on top of water. Omunina no motimely, at the end, see a quine as Africans. So, with all these enormous resources in Alaska, yen to me, Emfanye, a ye, greed, and near to born and Ninyan San Nipponi, and an idea. It is all Africa leadership now constitute to Nina, Abraham Quaquafon Qua, or 5 minutes in order. Se meeting over Quasia, who be in the bag in Masabi, pharmacy shop or Cramfano. In Nuro Gumno, because there is no space to think. I you can't deceive nature. I'm telling you, sir, when you get to a certain age, senile dementia and those kind of things comes to play. You can't do anything about it. Amnesia and those things, you can't even think straight. Well, I keep telling people, say, so we have human body now, all the cells and capacity to regenerate apart from the brain cells. Wow. Brain cells and one do the kwaku. Any capacity to regenerate until we bought them on Korabiruma or bought them the Uno. Because brains, any capacity to regenerate. So cells and what's your abrawada? That's right. One in the skin. And the skin now what capacity to regenerate in Umpone look who we are. You can look at the brain. So you can cheat nature. I'm just making it simple so we have a task here.
That's right.
That you can't cheat nature. And all the leaders in nipa greedy cabana yasate omo up. So with the natural resources na ye wono, ye betimi edi nyansa to ho na ye making it sure in such a way say your resources in ye managing in such a way say betimi dey develop your mind. Now Alaska all resources are one. Adeba kwese we take control is power. Power. When you have the power to control those resources, it become a game changer. Last time I came about Saudi Arabia, they have oil, and then we are saying yes, you are the OPEC and the OPEC plus, but within Saudi Arabia is the giant. There was a time where they decided say, I'm going to reduce oil by 4 million barrels a day. There was crisis all over. Oh, we are saying because they have power to control. About saying you have more resources. Foreign companies say betuo. Alaska, when they realize that after discovering the first one, Britain for Eja Hoko na or take over, no, they set up their own company. By then there was a company from California, never partner, and I'm forming that Aramco company and then explosion of Saudi Arabia. It started as Arabian American company, but at some point in time they realized that this is our country, this is our oil. We need to take a full stake, so they acquire everything in it, and then. All the major exploration in Asafo is done by state-run company, which is the Aramco. Oil no, neton, nediabeng, enti, sadrele no na wuntu minya. They will hire American company and pay them.
Okay.
So when you say Oko Saudi Arabia oil site na, American soldiers ne gu aba hoban. Na when you say me hire American soldier. They signed a defense contract with America and they are there protecting them till date and that contract has been there for almost 80 good years in here. And then I'm suing Osama bin Laden, Ebufu year in America for blah 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 blah.
Okay.
So money in because after some call Afghan, he wanted to take charge of that particular thing after the Gulf War. And I'm one man a crime. A can be the spell man be Pierce Somalia on a Mua Kaida some I know the baby baby no. So what resources in Alaska, what power to control everything. By Africa no. That power you need. And agreed, I say ma to the sense say Alaska the bedia kunwa na say resource no hu a na ofa kwati kwan na wakoton na waje share ahye wo ho ndi o man no benya ho mfa ho na say ye de hia de dem dada so enya me na mbese amanfo abrabo. That is the mentality. Enti wo ba ha all the African states na ye all the resources nyina ye ahia fo nko a oba asore na ye ade a ye fe ne say who is straight so
one man why you here ni we no so nyame be
eh na say ohia wi a the only thing you can fall in love is church ni nyame be yes ansem hunu no
motivational
but they forget the church ni ba bi na free buy people worship God but obo di nyansa na to ho obo Monday to Sunday kinken nyame bo enti ya nyahwe enti say road contract na ade be contractor na yes nyame ba next 20 years oh ya kwan papa ya dan ya ko heaven no wa ya kwan na basa sapete no go nyame ba. That is the kind of orientation mo dey agum and o man nye ye da na yete ha Alaska. Enti in the past there are mistakes debre ya fane oil ye de ko cheye because oil no hu the impact on this economy.
It's serious.
Alaska ya diamond ye hu so mfa so ya wo we ya gold obo ase de ye tam company and omo pay royalties to us adne ye de o omo tu what we get from it is royalties go to oboase even the people no omo ho no elsewhere. So we were mining at that large scale chemicals your friends exposure and as for no one you need to build the community by resettling the people somewhere. Sabia omunye close to activities now we no.
That's right.
Sabia those who are mining chemicals and as for say nipa
sir
but oboase 14 and you two mining no more than say and they have been exposed to chemicals and as for so incentive for every nipa no aduma no mo ye no krom ho for kwai see am fa o because I say some we bad boys so say so we kronuma land now we be farming as for no yaje why am fa wadwuma so ya render useless and na nam ho na wo home mframa na gu yamnya are ne chemicals nko so we yes na oba no you are done we leaders and ajatum no mo yes ane ma no Alaska enti royalties na yenya enti fortunately for us me say ya yes some mistake na ya bezu ba bi na Alaska ene de yes yenya lithium na say ya hu say ya mistake in the past there na we you change the rules of engagement. you go for new modalities aba betimi aboama for the first time na unkro for benefit kwana make catch say ne so wo lithium wo gold and because we are saying no you say fossil energy no ne burn no you move away to because of carbons you know you call clean energy. Now clean energy what is leading the way is lithium.
And a
lithium battery, lithium way, all the cars and I'm say in the next 10 years, who car is super true. And you will plans will be filling station, maybe an hour by year annum. Because those things and now your long term investment are one of the things I want to be found a filling station.
Very well.
And I said, yeah, post office, go and said, I'm your Sana be do a because the world is changing. Attention in go into your clean energy. So cars in the use battery. And battery the major lithium. And do lithium, that is the best deal. Now let's get a deal way. Now deputy minister Bejoka say, oh, Kufuor pensioner oil royalties here 5%. Yeah, Timia Kwa 10%. Carried interest now there was no in the past no now you net 10%. Yeah, Kwa yeah proper negotiation say no, you were 13%. Your friend say Yetimia Kwa Community Development Fund 1% ebe to atum. Yaka nyina away enko.
Deputy minister.
And he had the gut and the effrontery to stand on national TV. Hey, Nimkachile say this is the best deal Ghana has ever had. Na yeti kroma say. Alaska, Sadia no, sa lithium we a few countries bebre identify bia omu nyina do mankasa omu state owned company and run. Let me take you to Bolivia.
That's right.
Bolivia this year enye we yo omu do no Chinese company be on fene ACTL a technology company omu ye battery na se for and omu no mo partner and extract we no mo nyina omu extract and this is what they are doing at the early stage. The company is investing $1.4 billion. I'll set up 2 big plants. Battery as for no, China, Chrome no more. I'm only paying a Juma Chrome. An industrial investment in the period now in the next 5 years, should be $9.9 billion. Bolivia, and no more. Mexico this year, identify be. Omo de no crowd omo be anko partnership. Omo ankasa say omo set it up Lithos X. That is a state-owned company. Omo set it up. Omo do omo ye say omo befa. No mo aye bibia atenu into batteries na say for no. So when you finish, all you have to do is to link up with any of these industries. Apple, because omo phone you use Samsung, you link up with them and all the new cars omo ye car lithium no. You also you will get market. That is what they are doing. So you ask yourself, say, and for once, you hunyan sada, and country who say, this is the time for us to set up Ghana Lithium Company. Yansono, even say you don't have the resources that's a phone cry, you partner with Obi, they make issues a state, or maybe 50% plus stake in it.
Yesu or mine
when you pay your Jumaya. Because that's what you do. That is what you do. So, person with the policy be by betimenya lasting effect on the people's life. Because the resources of our Ghana here for the people of Ghana. And let me tell you something very interesting. I some analysis be, and this is what they did. Omoko and the current lithium price away international market. And Omoko fa say company no sign contract and you sign a 15-year contract. 15 good years old. Add the year free no royalties, from 5 to 10%. Carried interest from 3 to from 10 to 13%. One community way. And yes, almost set lithium plant to her. Company no and your mandatory or partner over setting one set here state in Ankasa ever find company will have an asset. You know say that then.
That's right.
So I last valuation in the next 15 years, Ebia first 3 years, Adia Fena, or Moto to Nema. So in commercial quantities, they might not be able to say Ombenya, and they are getting about 27,000 metric tons annually. So what the annual computation now, by the close of 12 years time, this company is getting $292 billion. etimi chechere Ghana foforo $292 billion award
me am grashe me
sika na kwaji free IMF no ay 3 billion no 3 billion
and po eban in tranches.
Yes, this is what we are getting. $292 billion. And estimate way rough estimation could be more. And from Awoya site in the central region alone. So I don't know how they were able to convince the chiefs and then I said for no mass already they were 1% community development fund, 1%. I bet when we can own it all to ourselves, go into agreement with them, partnership. And
no obehu Ghana phone be almost different days on radio. To the sense of Ubusa no, I didn't know I can call him on what they are saying.
I mean, can't say back conjure. Do you know Musa Unzanko Parliament?
Like,
oh yes, it's an international agreement that is supposed to go through parliamentary ratification.
Exactly.
I per the IEA document, you know, it didn't go through parliament. So such a massive agreement, your natural resources in the area, you know, didn't go through parliament. It is clear in the law.
So some parliament are illegal and binding.
Now bind we no illegal baby.
Abana kasa illegal.
Abana illegal baby. Alaska companies on them fano. Oh, we fa kwati na parliament and ratify na over here and fano. They know there was a go through parliament, there will be resistance.
So I had the unim say
business. Ghana is in business. Lithium too. They are hohoro na ya refine. Na ya factory. They are batteries no. And then niama ahoro. Ya ankasa yanso adentine yentumenye all the way to making the batteries. Exporting some, definitely using near area wahanum in about 2 or 3 years time. Yeba beseta wagana even vehicles assembly for electric vehicles. You've increased percentages and also you can come into our company. What do we know about that company? Have you checked up about the company we are supposed to take shares in? Do we want to? Why should we? Why should we? No, we have our thing. We want to. You control. Na Ghana for solution more of Ninyama if home. There be ada na yendi ebekwa akofre ubi. Ni bi ni akofre obroni. Omra no me no ma bibi kakra. No toss bibi kakra ma de bida. If you never quit, memo beyond tribune and so be okay better in the afe final one what the be fine yen kon o mangana what the be fine yen kon o mangana benya mfaso a sing say wo say your joint venture you benya better way say service contractor even better. 2.3 FM. You be stress, you be supervise, you be monitor, you be make sure say the system you the ashe honum no. Every year juma ma Ghana for and your individuals be any some so-called investors.
Asam no da ho no. So nsam no ye kan yenim de ye kan. Enti me ka chro say your friend is saying opasa will go into joint venture. You own a stake in it. Alaska media who owes Kafabra Bishim, we are 50-50. And I say 60-100, 60-40. But media Alaska me walk, but Jenny in our call, we are.
Because, what your mammy way, about yourself, Sicano crap, baby, ought a individual being the so called investor and the common.
Wouldn't say this here because foreign company, your friend is saying Australian company, no. Omuntivin sorry say as I was setting up a subsidiary company in Ghana, and that subsidiary company, no, you need Ghanaians to front it.
Just like PDS.
Oh, good. So a company will be set in the name of that company in Ghana has say. So these people now, or more added new more, they are the very people within the same company.
Directors of
they are the directors, board chairman, and as a forum. So Sikana has a ever state in no end up in their pocket. From oil deal, no, sad the woman besin there. And didn't see Ghana quine. say oil net your friends say yentimi set up company say yankasa ye be mine ye lithium ya manage set up this plant na say for ye bobosia de disabian some full okroma say yantia na so for giginam say yanko bobosia mesi cathedral na we nipa wunim nyansa na bia o kan say mo ya aye me ya chen ade bia we nipa wunim nyansa obesoro de animu say we osofo yanko si cathedral this time abra nnwuma ni ho aboys benya bia ye.
And I can afford as a cathedral. Imagine, sir, yes, we na Ghana turning to New Jerusalem.
Or Bodam, Bibi Hano. Jerusalem, no, you will be Jerusalem, Yaden. No, will be Jerusalem, Yaden. Jerusalem, no more, go to Jerusalem. Jerusalem has been at the war front for years. Obedi Jerusalem, Yaden. Obedi Jerusalem, Yaden. Alaska, and I make catch us sometimes, some like it's not as if, say, a Ghana for youth in a Pakasan as a for no. First, no information here, but in the Ghana for what who say, I didn't hear because other countries are doing it and it's possible. So there be any time your resources, na your time man for no more for no mudi ye. Now few people are fronting as directors and your friends and managers, and then they cannot go into their pocket. The ordinary Ghanaian, I am free of they end up getting money. They live good. They don't care about their subject. That's what I'm saying. Say, baby, do no. Ebedu baby no respect enya ade a yeton the market a yeto dugu kwa o.
That's right.
Before somebody respect you, you need to show value for it. That is why ahemfo ne politicians ni amanfo put them together because they have failed this country. Because where you expect them to rise up to the occasion and defend the interests of the ordinary Ghanaian, who are more
and some Jonah are defended these days.
And I'm shocked.
And what on Professor Jampu?
Yeah, yes, he has been a beneficiary of this thing because Anglo Gold no almost exactly. And today he is ranked among the richest people in Ghana. Sikano Konyano, he's the same gold now, so he will agree. Sikano Konyano, and Anglo Gold, yeah, I on your mind, Sika. That's the same strategy, also. Maybe the justifications and 5% and 10%, and 10% and 13%. But in Yansa, you was able to only idea or can service contract, and that is what Saudi Arabia is doing. You see, you don't always be there are modern emerging technologies, new ideas, new modalities, and there are research companies or more Alaska, maybe state-owned enterprise. You don't have those resources, so what you do is you service them.
That's right.
Then you pay them. Of course, Saudi Arabia. Rig now, but most of them are Saudi Arabians, so most of them are from America.
And so they just hire these experts.
They pay them high because it's a rig. So some you can even spend a month on our soon. So because they have the technical
expertise.
So men are a company. Mafao, we have motiauka. Menu ni percentage sembia ko krum. I own it. I'll go to the market and determine the price. So, I don't know more leverage there. We have become beggars. Until I message and catch us say, our natural resources we are seeing and no winning we are useless. Or natural resources we are seeing and no winning those resources are useless. The Nimiansa Baba Jaco. And Africa we have proven say Nimiansa. That is why these white people come always find few greedy people in the name of politics, convince them, and then it ends there. Why the ordinary person cry and near bra? Ye hear pennyfo a omonka politics no one. Ombeji aginam say sabi yankoma you to know. And then look at social media. Yes, or anyway you come or anyway. And some who are on social media no moody. At this time or any come. Yes, and I'm to me such a way such nonsense. I don't want to social media and no moody. And now Alaska such Sansa will be any day. And now he never call baby. Why not call?
President Mahama said at 70 about century said so we are been so for who share a manusema a course of manas who do your neutral. Every year, no Nanquasia and they do so.
Oh, that's true. Alaska.
You side with him.
In politics, Makato said there are no neutrals. Either you are somebody within fighting for a good cause or you are a coward sitting on the sidelines. We are coward now sitting on the sidelines. A time will come, you'll be buried. That's what happens. And last time I catch you about what happened in the Volta region. Just imagine, so I was a media voter, many politics.
That's right.
Media me yam cocoa for my yam info. Obieko beans will go to Coconin 600 and 600 in a cock. Obi politics have become. So we need to get actively involved. And can we back over? Because Obi is saying na se for di go. Na Alaska ye ba ye, omo ye ba ye. And can grow go. Ye nyansani man ye good deal so ho. Oil na ye ton. Na ye nyansani amane ye Saudi Arabia for system yi bi to ho ma ye. And can say ye brey. And Ghana ni sora kwa abrocha kwa eden. Ye goldi nko oboase ni esara kwa abrocha kwa eden.
One of say ye nya oyo no do no mu ye ne pe laws na wonu sata muscribe some be renegotiation.
Yes.
Asana na like enu pono.
Yes.
Look at
and an oil deal no and a benefiting crofo no a eno mo nam kroma say omo ye e kroma say. They are living large because omo din no papa no na ye and they are making money.
Even once in opposition, they are still
enjoying. Because he will not go in the name of the state. They will go in the name of these private firms and as for no state will not benefit, but they are benefiting. So it doesn't matter where they find themselves or to opposition.
There's
a price to pay for aloofness. There's a saying that for those who, I've forgotten what exactly it is, but for those who refuse to participate in governance or something, the price they pay is to be ruled by fools. You remember something like that. Today, there are bondholders who said, I don't do politics. Me, I'm neutral. I'm not NDC, I'm not MPP, I'm not what.
Right.
Alaska. So why we find ourselves now, and that is why we've always been preaching for active participation. Your voice matter. Who vote matter. Or criticism ne or abaso bona se for matter at this point in time because Krofona yedi 2 minasha or mansano nipa. One, they are very greedy. They only think about themselves and their family. They don't care about one men. They don't care about mind. To them, it is about their omogati. So yeah, and they are very sharp. Now you invest emotions in politics. Now you invest in yansa. But majority of Ghanaians have rather invested emotions in politics.
Serious.
What fun is that? Never pay Japan. Oh, you are not back says, yeah, there are very people who don't even get anything. No, or no, but be a question be according in some phone, not the radio so defending. No, but until you reduce your one to the politician and beating officer when you pass away about made there no more jay. But you think that you might build the critical masses, and we are very reasonable. Sebi, or more criticism as a foreigner, and yeah, because parties, never show when you cannot cry. Alaska, do you think that these people have a safe haven to hide? They can't. Because they are serving us. But Royal Saudis are making her grandma first one master that breaking some down.
That's right.
I'm what here. Now look at say why will anybody on his right senses at this time because say you find lithium, Yantama foreign company, umbetu, not my royalties. When we have all the capacity and your professors and your doctors in United radio so doctors.
It's serious.
Yes.
And even the lawyers.
Yes. They are radio lawyers, radio professors, radio doctors in as a forum or bar church and African cancer, Munugu, and no Alaska. Go to the classroom. Ask yourself, say, some of these your friends saying mineral extraction in as a forum. How are we repositioning the country in such a way that our universities will be able to train young people who will be useful in these enterprises?
No. We just lecture, we just classroom crab radio.
So Alaska, some of this extractive industry,
92.3 FM,
skill. I'll be training nipa with knowledge in us. And I say countries no more oil in us for they are battling with those technologies and stuff. That is why they continue to rely on Europeans and Americans for help. And you know, you find a way, you know. Say government is serious at what you do in this Alaska, and can the next 5 or 10 years, you know, the next 2-3 years, you know. You identify people, you train them. I'll meet me.
92.3
FM. This is set up factory in as a foreigner. You have people who take charge, lead it, and then professors also want knowledge in as a in terms of research in as a foreigner. They will back it. But because of government policy in the structure, and you know, we have reduced all these people now have been rendered redundant. So the only option they have is to wake up in the morning, being called on radio or classroom. I don't know, you know, there is no practical effect. Be a gunner, just theoretical.
Right.
We cannot continue this way. Alaska, we need to preach, say, the political narrative must change. The way and manner we do things must change. Now I am negotiating for better deals. we cannot continue to sell our birthright. And Alaska, it will interest you to know, sir, the only high play out Ghana is no different from what is playing out in Nigeria.
It's no,
Makata said, core at the heart of a black man is that greed and wickedness. That's who we are. Abrafuno munya bibia. On Bekisho so yes, I be an enemy of benefit. Because me dear, I'm hoping to meet me. I left till now, so what be doing?
Our person, you can just dean to her.
No, some no. Ghana nini some no. Yes. Some no na bo debia yes amasa. Yes amasa. Unye yeda. Your politics no. Sani de twa funuma. Debia obasum nipa. But say yeah, boy, I elevate it to a level where you never attain some kind of economic independence. Because until so when you that kind of economic independence, you can't even think independently. You can't.
Mr. Ivan said, do weekends. Now you see MP quite a year.
Yes.
Now MP need not in the V8 mo. Now party for no at to pick up.
Yes.
Now say, honorable you do a year nasia.
Yes. No, we don't want to make
that is it. Not your sifam,
yes.
Not your big, not your day. Now honorable basis or our phone chammy.
Nipo winning yansa and
Ah!
Yes. O here ni be kwa so the no the nisika koma sofo na sofo ma media aye makeup o horo ni makeup etimi penti school dan no ni gusu edi hia ye nim yansa Alaska ye nim yansa en ye di gu ha sei yes na sofo ma me ohu omu o horo bi ani makeup etimi penti school dan be 3 because kan onya ni free obenya nkwasi afọ mo de abra ni ku edi no de na onye da bi o wa ni jem asa kromfo yire no. Oh, Cromford and I will hold.
Cromford,
any gem. Only Nicophobia. iPhone or Panicophobia.
92.3 FM.
Right, I was here. Live on the radio out on 92, but that was Ivan J. Innocent. I would just see a pro because one of the chat made it run over my mouth. I start to